Audio properties are fun. Hey, look, I got me fixed. Give me a second. Thank you, Cha, for noticing that. Again, this is my first time using this setup since updating my computer, and everything was different. Okay, let's see. Do we have Greg and E?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Yay! Sound.
Yes. Yay.
Aw, man, you guys missed all the fun name talk.
Oh my gosh, that was like those were some really insightful observations that you all made.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Hi and welcome to Crits and Knits, but it's just Knits and Knits.
Knits and Knits.
Knits and Knits. And now I fixed the audio, and that's good.
Hooray!
Yay! That fricky, fracky, Cadillac-y audio.
Yes. Oh, the problematic audio. It's fine now, though. I got it fixed. I have to remember to fix that for my Sunday stream stuff, too. That's okay. That's a problem for future me. Which means I'll forget about it again. It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Not my hair, that's for sure.
My hair is also not fine, but I'm a crafty bitch.
There you go. My hair is doing okay. My face, though, is just...
You have a lovely face.
Thank you. But no, I had some dental work done today, and I'm almost unnumb, but not quite. But that's fine. Everything's fine.
Are you comfortably numb?
No, it's not comfortable at all. It's rather uncomfortable.
Oh.
It makes weird noises. Anyway, hi. How are you guys doing?
Woo!
I'm doing
is better than not doing.
This is true.
How's your crafting going?
It is not.
Oh, that's sad.
Well, Danny, you had to bring that up.
Tennis elbow from all of my lifting at work, so I'm trying to take it easy.
Mm-hmm.
But a friend of mine who has a beading business reached out and was like, "Hey, do you want to do an art trade?" And I hang on, I'm trying to make fun of Danny.
I approve. I really approve.
Oh gosh.
He reached out and was like, "Oh, do you want to do an art trade?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. What do you want?" And he was like, "Oh, I'd love an octopus, but maybe not as giant as the ones you made a few years ago, because I remember you saying how hard those were." To tell the truth, they're not really hard. They're just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And if he'd asked, I would have made him one. But so he said a smaller one. So.
Oh, that's so stinking cute.
Planned.
Oh, I love him. Or her.
I will post the pattern. I did make a couple adjustments to the written pattern. I added little circles around the eyes to give it a little more depth, because the pattern called for like eyes with irises.
Okay.
And I don't have any, and I wasn't gonna go buy any. Because I wasn't. Yep. And then I'm on the bottom, I like picked up some stitches and did like a half double crochet to cinch in the bottom to make a little guy.
So cute.
Little guy.
Aw. I like it.
That's all I've done.
I also have crocheted. I made a log.
I
made a log.
That's really big. That's bigger than I thought it was going to be.
It is large. It is a large log.
A mighty big log you have there, Danny.
Don't drop
Look at the size of her log.
I don't know how I feel about that. Oh gosh, and Gerundu was making log jokes, or implying log jokes, but yeah, I made a log. This was after our That's Pretty Crafty the other night about Twin Peaks. And there is not a pattern for this. I just did a bunch of...
You just logged it.
You just rolled with it.
No!
Oh, yes. I love it. Oh, the puns. Yeah, I did a rectangle-ish. You can see the edges, like the ends are all different lengths, because some rows I did longer, some I did shorter. I was in the groove, going with my feelings. I did
feeling that log.
Single crochets through both loops on the right side, and then on the wrong side I did singles or half doubles or doubles or triples, just depending how I felt like it. Mostly through the front loop, but sometimes through both loops, so that it gave like a barkish texture. So like you can see that it's not just a single back and forth line. It's sort of all over the place, like a natural log.
Yeah,
And
looks good, man.
I did circles on the ends, just alternating 2 shades of cream. And inside, you actually can't see it on there, but I found I've got some scrap fabric that I just cut into about the right length and rolled into a tube and shoved inside so that the polyfill wouldn't come out, because the double crochets are kind of big, like I can get my whole finger in there. So it kept the polyfill in. But I didn't sew any of it. I just wrapped it around and then shoved the polyfill in and then stitched the 2 ends on. And now I have a log pillow. It sits nicely on my couch, but it's also like really comfy as like a bolster for behind me. Like I'm quite happy with this pillow. I was making a log for the sake of making a log to go with Twin Peaks, but I'm gonna get some decent use out of this pillow. I made a log.
Your log might have important things to say.
It might. I will have to listen to it and see.
Listen to the log.
I mean, it does make some sounds of the polyfill squeaking together as you lay your head on it, so.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a couple other things, too. I made another dishcloth. Nothing fancy about this one. But I was busy making the log. That was really my big project over the last week or so. But I've got this giant thing of cotton, just some Bernat Handicrafter cotton from a long time ago. Because I got it when I was still in Canada, so that's a while. But
that is quite a while.
It's getting to be very hollow, so I'm working my way through that one. I'm working my way through my entire cotton stash, darn it. I'm going to get through it eventually, and everyone I know is going to get dishcloths, and it'll be fine. And then I've been working on my new podcast scarf. So I think last time I knit up to there. And then I had a meeting on Sunday that I knit to there. And then all of this is from today's dentist appointment. Because I was thrilling the hygienist with my ability to knit while sitting in the chair and not looking at it. So
it's like a party trick.
It is. It really is. But that's all I've done is the mindless podcast and dentist knitting, one dishcloth, and then a log. But I love this log. I love log.
I love your log too.
What about you, Greg? What are you working on?
I'm doing a Turkish cast on right now.
Yeah, you are.
And it's the second time I've done this Turkish cast on because it didn't work out the first time.
Oh.
But whatever. I'm working on socks here. And here's the thing, like socks is like my easy go-to knitting, pick it up, do it anywhere, blah blah blah, except for like casting it on and doing my toe with the make one left and right, just one stitch in from the end of the either end of the needles, and
right,
it's I should have done this an hour ago before I was going to be talking to y'all, and then I could have just been going. But
where's the
planning?
Fun in that?
Yeah, exactly. Because my job is to make myself a fool on the internet in front of all the people. It's what I do. I'm pretty good at it. I've been doing it for years, and it's awesome. So anyway, it will be socks because I finished the diffusion socks that I was working on.
Yay!
Last time we talked, out of the String Theory Colorworks yarn in the Ohm. I think it was Ohm, might have been Volt. It was their base that had Tarji, which was for some of work with Tarji. It's the second pair of socks out of it. But anyway, so here they are, and it is. I'm very excited to be able to hold them right next to each other.
They match.
And
the way
the
they
stripes
match.
are
beautiful.
perfectly, beautifully matched.
They are
I really
fantastic.
thought of Danny while I was working on the heels to make sure that I split it just right. And it was great because like I got to the heel and it split in the gray part.
That's always nice.
So I've got a full stripe of either color with just and the gray part is the smaller stripe. And so I've got the
Hmm.
purple and this what is color is teal, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Um and on either side of the heel, and it's great, and
And
and it's
even the
awesome, and
tops.
it
It's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. So it's great. I love it.
Yay.
And so they're finished. I weaved in all the ends on these socks and another pair of socks that I had that needed ends woven in
Hmm.
over the weekend. And so I'm all caught up on my finishing work. I need to
Nice.
soak these and take pictures of them or whatever.
Yeah.
And so now what I'm left with is uh this is the contrast color. And so this was from a mystery grab bag that I purchased at Carolina Fiber Fest this year, and it had this. The gray is the contrast color yarn for the heels, toes, and cuffs, and then it was three skeins of self-striping yarn that had the gray in it. I didn't haven't weighed this, but
It's
I
lasting so long.
it's lasting a lot. I could have really done a lot more with it. I think one hank of this yarn is probably enough to get at least four sets of contrast socks, heels, tops, and coes. Um, but if they threw in another hank of yarn into the mystery grab bag, it would have made it like super expensive because there's already
Right.
four hanks of yarn. Put a fifth one in there, and then they're going to price themselves. I'm sure that was
Yeah.
the business behind what they did. So, but I don't know what the stripe looks like yet
Oh, you haven't opened it.
because it's right here.
Oh.
I, I have not opened it yet. Um, and
Open it, open it, open it.
no,
Oh.
I'm gonna open it on my other podcast. Uh,
Oh,
Okay.
so
see, we're
it,
the least favorite children.
absolutely, you're no, you're the redheaded stepchild. Um, no, if I quit making noise with it because it's. But anyway,
Pretty. It's so
this is how
pretty.
they wrap it.
That's so
Yeah,
cute.
it's great. I mean, you can't really. She did a great job wrapping it, so you
Yeah,
can't
she
see it.
did.
If I'd thought about it, I would have said, "Hey," I would have told Pam, um, "Hey, the other podcast I do is on video. I should unwrap it there."
Yeah.
But we
You already
already
made the
made
deal.
arrangements for. Yeah, I
Yeah.
already made the deal. So I don't know. Maybe I'll text. Um, because like we're not recording till Friday, so I got to keep this wrapped up till Friday. If
Oh
I
man.
whatever.
Do you have an
It's
extra set of needles so you can cast on another toe in the meantime when you run out?
uh, I do, but not signatures, and
You want it to be the same.
it's probably they don't have to be the same. It's probably fine. But I got other things
Oh
to.
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just till Friday. Of course, I've got my cowl, the
Right.
snowshoe cowl,
Oh
or yeah,
yeah.
the snowshoe cowl that I've been working on. Still only halfway finished with that
But
because I've
still.
been oh shit, this stuff is falling off the needles.
But it's lofi type yarn, right? So it's grippy.
Yeah, yeah, it's really grippy, but it's color work too, which
Yeah.
all right, I caught it.
Yay.
Um, let me yes, let me see. What am I supposed to say? Since I'm playing the part of DB, I'm supposed to be sweary, but Blueberry says I shouldn't be sweary. So diddly darn banger doodles.
There you go.
The needle came off. But yeah, so anyway, so here's my um the snowshoes.
I love those
And so that's good.
snowshoes.
I love them. They're great, and I think it's so cool that the pattern was in Norwegian. But I mean, the knitting is just a chart, so
Hmm.
read the chart or whatever. But it also came with like a little story about how the ancient Norwegians used skis and snowshoes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which the internet like take a picture of it and tell it to translate it. I think I used Google Translate or some other translating app. It just did it. It was crazy. The future is pretty awesome. Living in the future is pretty dystopian at times, but pretty awesome at other times. so
Yeah.
so I've got that to work on, and yes, and the other thing that kept me uh, uh, occupied since we last recorded was Cory the Kobold.
Hmm.
And so I think maybe I had done part of it when we talked last. I don't
I think so.
remember.
I
It all
love
blends
him.
together. But here he is.
I think he's
He's
adorable.
he's really adorable with his tiny little eyes, just like the pattern said to use when I had the pattern. Uh,
I have fixed the pattern since then.
but you know what? The tiny eyes,
It works for him.
it really does work for him. He's got the tweed yarn with all the flecks in it, and the eyes, go with it and everything. It's really cool. And then the same tweed yarn I had, a like gray version of it as well as the green version. So I was able to use the same yarn in a different colorway for his, underbelly and leg stuff and everything. And then I used this. From Nordic Star Yarns for the horns, the Unraveling a Knitting podcast colorway that they did
Oh, I
with
love
from my
that.
other podcasts with the colors,
And
nice
it's
like
just
the
little
red and
stripies. I love it.
yeah, and the little single row stripies and it's
Mm-hmm.
great. Danny, this is such a fun pattern. It
Yay.
was it was so much fun. I like when Blueberry was little, I knitted a lot of stuffies, and
Hmm.
I haven't been knitting a lot of stuffies since or lately. So it was really kind of nice to get a break. It took less than a week, or I could have done it in less than a week if I had
Yeah.
really concentrated. Just a few days, really. But I was working on other things too, and it was fun. Little fun like getting the tail on and sewing the bottom, and everything. Those are skills that I don't do in my normal knitting, my
Right.
typical knitting. So it's kind of cool to dust those off. And I overstuffed the horns
I love how they
so that
look
they,
though.
yeah,
Just
yeah. But I did it on purpose because it makes it like kind of bulby,
yep.
and then you still get that
The little
the
bit
way
of
you did the
curl.
short rows, the little curl to the back, and I put them on like farther on the side of the faces and angled them out to make it look a little more goofy.
Yeah.
One of his legs is a little. I like totally leaned into like making a couple little choices and a couple little accidents that made it just goofier, and I
And
really
it just
really
works
leaned
so
into
well.
the goofy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Shared it with some of my friends at work, and they all want them. One of my one of my coworkers said that if she knew how to knit, she would make an entire army of them and just like put them up all around her,
Nice.
like so when we're on Zoom calls or Teams calls at work and everything. So,
Oh, now I'm tempted because we've been talking about doing a kobold game where we
hmm
play our crew of kobolds.
yeah,
I want to do that in person, but instead of using minis on a 1 inch square map, I want to make a big map, and we can all use stuffed Corys and Mayo Sue and Peter and Tim and all the gang.
gosh,
I love it.
that'd be
Yes.
hilarious.
And then I've got like other stuffies that I can bring to be the things that you're fighting. I've got a
Yeah.
giant mushroom. I've got a monster from Where the Wild Things Are.
hmm
I've got several cats. I've got an axolotl. You're gonna fight all sorts of fun things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna we're gonna play D&D with stuffies. I love that idea.
That is so cool. We have such like cool ideas. We got D&D with stuffies. We've got the double knit scarf uh
Oh
thing
yeah,
that we
I need to
that
finish
would
knitting that.
it was we got all the time in the world.
That's true.
We
That's
got
true.
we
We
got
got a
tons of
while before we're
time.
gonna hang out again, all of us. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, I'm hoping to release Corey, um, probably this week or this weekend. I want to
Release the Corey.
have him out by the beginning of next month
That's
because
great.
he's been test knit and I've made adjustments to the pattern and I think I'm good with it now. So I'll probably knit one more myself just to double check everything. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a fun pattern.
well, Thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I feel like I should have had more knitting done.
You usually do. Did you work on your sweater, your big black sweater at all?
I did
Your Taylor Swift
I
stir.
I did work a little bit on the Taylor Swift shawl, and that one is
That's
taking a while because I'm working out where to put in increases within cabling. And it's a
Hmm.
thing. So there's a lot of thinking. Like I'll do a row and double check and make sure
right.
that things are growing where I want them to grow.
Mm-hmm.
But we're getting there. Oh, I know why I didn't get much knitting done for the last 2 nights I've been painting.
Oh,
Hmm.
I'm I make my Christmas cards every year. And it's one of those things because I have moved rather far away from a lot of friends and family. I send out a lot of Christmas cards every year. I think this year's list is 49 people. And I make my cards, I don't buy them. And that's sort of my way of saying, hey, even though we're real far apart, I'm still thinking about you and I'm putting effort
mm-hmm.
in to you. And this
Mm-hmm.
year, I am I've cut up some watercolor paper into 3 inch by 4 inch little rectangles, and I am painting on each of them. And then I've used some acid-free archival adhesive dots and some butcher's twine and made a little hook. And I'm attaching this watercolor to the front of the card with just a piece of washi tape so that when you get the card, you have a card, but then you can take the painting off and it's got a little hook and you can like hang it on your tree as an ornament or hang it on a
Oh,
wall or something. So everyone that I send Christmas cards to will have a one of a kind ish piece of art from me. So
That is super sweet.
yeah.
meanwhile, I'm just going to recycle old leftover cards from years past because I don't put the year on them because I'm in a new workplace and they won't know.
Well, oh yeah. And this is not something that like goes to coworkers. Coworkers get like store bought box cards.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine for them. But this is like my aunties and uncles and the cousins that I never see anymore, and the family who will appreciate mostly something like that. And you know what? If
Mm-hmm.
they don't, I'm not gonna know. It's not gonna hurt my feelings if they
Right.
decide to recycle it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's why I haven't knit for the last 2 nights because I was up to my elbows in watercolors.
That's cool.
But it's one of those. It struck me that I wanted to get a start on those because it always seems to take like 1,000 times longer than I plan, and I
Mm-hmm.
usually remember like a week before December that oh I haven't done the cards yet and I've got a lot to do, and then I sort of stress. And I had decided a couple months ago, I saw this watercolor tutorial. I'm like, oh, that's really pretty. I want to try that. And I did a little sample. I'm like, this is what I'm doing for my Christmas cards this year. So I've started. And I had, in the last 2 nights, I painted 28 little watercolor
Oh my
paintings.
God, Danny.
Oh,
Yeah.
neat.
You are so prolific.
I get a little obsessed. And that's just my personality. And that's okay. We're going to just roll with it.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah,
Yes,
that's been a lot of paintings and less knitting.
we'll see if we get holiday cards out this year. We almost got them out last year, and then we did.
If you don't, you don't. It's not
Uh,
everyone's thing, and I don't want anyone to
yeah.
ever feel like I'm shaming them for not doing cards. This is just
Mm-hmm.
the thing that I do because so many people in my life are so far away, and I don't get to
Mm-hmm.
just like go up to them and say happy holidays. It's I
Mm-hmm.
send you a card or maybe get to give you a call, but there's only so many hours in the day and across time zones and trying to do it all in a short length of time. It's just
Mm-hmm.
cards work for me.
And talking with people is hard.
It can be,
There is that.
especially like distant family. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
like I've got
Having
go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
Just I have an auntie and uncle who are fantastic. I love them. technically it's my mom's auntie and uncle.
Mm-hmm.
So they're
Oh,
in
yeah.
their late 80s, early 90s. And we just don't have a whole lot in common. And I love talking to them. We chat maybe once a year. And
Mm-hmm.
it's always very pleasant, but it's always the exact same conversation every time because that's what we are familiar talking about, and neither of us has to spend 20 minutes explaining a thing just to
Hmm.
like make a comment. So instead I send them a card, and then they call and say, oh, it's a lovely card, thank you so much. And I say, oh, you're so welcome, did you have a nice holiday? Oh, yes, we did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell your mom we love her and we'll talk to you later. Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's great, but it keeps us in contact. So.
Oh, thank you.
Pizza?
Pizza.
I had pizza.
Pizza.
I had pizza
I always
just before
tease
the
me that I
stream
get pizza
started.
all the time.
Not all the time, just on Wednesdays.
Sometimes it's chicken.
Sometimes it's chicken.
Sometimes it's like
Sometimes it's
teriyaki chicken.
pasta.
Oh wow, I swear I just smelled pizza. Thinking about it too hard. Got
We had
smell-o-vision. Mm.
so our grocery store, the grocery stores that we have on the East Coast include Harris Teeter, and that's one, and they have $5 meal deal nights now, and on Mondays it's pizza. So
Mm.
it's a pepperoni pizza for $5, which is enough to
Nice.
feed our entire family, and at least one of us can have leftovers later. And so
That's
I had
nice.
the leftovers. So we all had as much piece as we wanted on Monday night, and then I just had two pieces. And you can either get a cheese pizza or a pepperoni pizza. If you get a different kind of pizza, it's $8 instead of
Mm.
5. Normally it's $13.
That's a pretty good deal then.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time I've talked around a lot of numbers that were dollars and not stitches or just random. Love my numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But these are mom pizzas.
Oh, they looked really cheesy.
Yeah, she's on there.
There's nothing wrong with
That's not a
that.
bad thing.
Mm-mm.
That is a good thing. I love cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I told y'all. I know I told y'all. I don't know if I told everybody. I went to go watch them cut the cheese.
Oh yes.
Crack the cheese, not cut the cheese. I do that all
That's
the time.
something different.
That's something completely different. No, the cheese cracking. I know I talked about it on my other show. Where the Parmesan. I forget the
Parmigiano
like
Reggiano.
The authentic
the authentic,
Parmigiano.
not the counterfeit stuff. The authentic, what Danny said.
Yeah. The ones that
So it
have the
comes.
microchips now.
Yes, yeah. They got QR codes and everything, but they come in like 80-pound wheels, and that's how they ship them to the stores, and then the grocery store will crack the cheese and divide it up into the smaller portions. And when I was at the grocery store about a month or so ago, they had a sign that said, "We're cracking the cheese tomorrow." And so I asked them what that means. They said, well, they pointed at it and they said, we're going to crack it up. And I went home and I looked on YouTube and found lots of videos of cheese cracking. And I said, this is amazing. We are going to go do this. And so I took the whole family. I felt like Clark Griswold, like, we're going to have like a cheese cracking time. It doesn't cost anything to go watch someone at the grocery store crack the cheese, and then you get cheese because they
I
give you
mean,
cheese samples,
yeah.
right? So good too.
Mm.
So, so here's a part of the story I don't think I told on the other time, and I don't think I told you on the Discord either, where we got there and they weren't set up to crack the cheese,
Mm.
and so we got there early because I didn't want to miss anything, and so I asked somebody. I said, "Are you going to crack the cheese today?" They said, "Oh, we were,
Oh.
but we're not cracking the cheese today." I was like, "Oh no." They said it's because of the listeria outbreak.
Oh
And
no.
Oh, that
and
sounds bad.
yeah, well, it wasn't. it wasn't here. We didn't have it here.
Oh,
But Boar's Head, deli meat company out of Virginia, they had a listeria in one of their meat packing places or
oh
what have
darn.
you. That and so regionally they set out an alert, say, they got to be careful. And so all of the grocery stores were like completely sanitizing their deli
Mm,
departments and everything. They closed down the deli. They took out all of it. They probably threw a bunch of meat away and everything. And and was sanitizing everything, and which included the cheese section because there was deli meat with
right.
where the Murray's cheese was, and they had to get the all clear before they could crack the cheese for it, and that store had not gotten the all clear. But the cheese lady told me, I can't believe this is like going like on my cheese story here. I am
No, it's good. Keep going.
such an old man. It's a cheese lady at the grocery store. She told me that she couldn't crack the cheese that day, but the grocery store across town had gotten the all clear. They were still waiting to
Mm.
get it on Lawndale, but down at Friendly, they got the all clear. I said, "Well, are they cracking it today?" She says, "I don't know when they're cracking it." I said, "Well, because I think it was supposed to be at 11 o'clock, and we were early." I was like, but this point it was like quarter till 11, and I said to my family, I said, "Well, we're going to Friendly. It's only about a 10-15 minute drive, and if they're doing it at 11, we can still get there on time." Like, all right, because they, so yeah, so we skedaddled and hopped in the car and drove on over to Friendly. When I went straight back to the counter, and so I found the cheese lady at the cheese lady there, and she says, and I asked her, I said, are you cracking the cheese today?" And she looked at me like, "How did you know?" And I said, we were at Lawndale, and because they had a sign up about it, and but then they can't. She says, "What?" I said, "Because of the listeria." She says, "Oh, they didn't get the all clear?" I said, "Apparently not."
You're spreading the cheese tea.
I know. I said, "Apparently not." But they told me you did. She said, "Oh yeah, we got the all clear earlier this morning or yesterday or whatever it was." So, she says, "But I'm really backed up right now. I didn't have like a planned time to do it. But if you're here, I'll do it as soon as I can. I got it." And she pointed to a bunch of work she had to do. I said, "Well, I'm gonna get out of your way. You do your work. We're gonna go get some stuff off of the hot bar because they have a hot bar, with the sneeze guards on it and
See that you
everything."
can eat while you watch the cheese being cracked.
There you
Exactly.
go.
Well, but while we wait for the cheese to be cracked, so we went and got some Chinese food from the hot bar. I'm sorry, it was an Asian bar, so it was Chinese and other Asian cultures. We, made by the folks at Harris Teeter in North Carolina. Very authentic, I'm sure. But we had a great time. So we ate our Asian bar food, and every now and then Blueberry went. I sent her to go check. Hey, are they going to do it? And so it got time that they were about to do it, and the cheese lady knew that we were waiting. Uh, so she's like, "Yeah, okay, let's do it." And she rolled a big table out, like from out behind, and so it was in front of the cheese counter. The cheese counter is like in the round. It's like theater in the round. It's like cheese
Nice.
counter in the round.
The
And
cheese
so
wheel.
she cheese wheel, right? Yeah. Cheese counter and the cheese wheel. And so she brought a big like butcher block table to like crack the cheese on, rolled it out there, and she had to get someone else to come help her. And so they had the cheese, and she's got these knives, and she had like a half dozen different knives, and you like stab it in, you stab another in, and then you like grr, 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 like that to you really got to get
Wow.
into it.
Nice.
And she had a guy help, and they cracked it open, and you heard the angels, the cheese
Mm.
angels, and the cheese wheel itself, it spread like angel wings, and then
Nice.
and she's like she'd done this before and had turned and presented it so it looked really good too. And then she talked about how the cheese in the middle part is usually that's considered the best parts of the heart of the cheese wheel. And of course, some of it had crumbled apart or whatever. So
Oh
you want
no.
some samples. Yeah, so we got
Mm.
some delicious samples straight from the heart of the cheese wheel, freshly cracked. Oh, I had no idea I was gonna come on stream and tell the cheese cracking story and get so emotionally invested in it again. And so I have some pictures. I'll get some pictures and maybe the video and put it up on the Discord to share with everyone the cheese cracking story. But some of those pictures I had marked on my phone as a favorite so that it synced up with my Amazon picture stuff. So now my Fire TV in the other room, when the screensaver kicks on, you get pictures of the cheese cracking lady cracking and showing her cracked cheese, and it's oh boy, it's great.
I bet you made her weak, honestly.
I hope so.
To have someone so invested in the cheese cracking, that would make my
Yeah,
Yeah.
week.
yeah.
How many other people showed up?
A couple of other people showed up because they were in the area of the store when it
Mm.
happened. They're like, okay, we'll stop it. No one else was on a mission to see the cheese cracking. No, their store didn't
Did they
have a
do an
sign up
all
like
call
the other
like,
one. They
attention,
did.
Harris Teeter shoppers, we're gonna crack the cheese?
Yes, go to the deli section where we'll be cracking the Parmigiano
Reggiano.
Reggiano. Thank you, Daddy. um, and we will be cracking that in just a couple of minutes. We're getting set up now and
Wow.
everything. It was
Wow.
That's so
it was
cool.
so much good. So I asked them how often they do it, and she says, well, we don't have a schedule because it just depends on how fast they sell the cheese. She says, but it usually averages every couple of months.
Okay.
Oh,
So I should go check with them and see when they think they might be cracking some cheese again.
you could live stream it.
I could live stream it.
Yeah.
Some of
Somebody's
the
into that,
YouTube
I'm sure.
oh
I'd
yeah,
watch.
some of the YouTube videos I found were people live streaming cheese crackings. They were like recordings of live streams of cheese crackings, and yeah, but yeah, it was great because I saw the sign on a Friday, and I didn't have anything planned on Saturday, and I said, well, I'm going to do this, and I'm bringing my family, and I'm watching, and I was like, let me watch about it, and I saw, and I said, this is going to be great, and then I did like some more research on how they make the official Parmesan and everything, and there's like a huge counterfeit cheese industry around it, and
They
it's
now
like,
have edible microchips that they embed in the skin
yeah,
of the Parmesan.
All microchips are edible if you try hard enough.
that's right.
But these ones are intentionally
and,
edible.
and if Blueberry were here, she would say, "You could eat anything. Some things you can only eat once." So,
True enough. True enough.
uh, that's one I taught her.
She heard the
There she
story of that
is.
French guy that ate a
She heard me
child.
tell the story. So yeah, so
I'm
yeah,
gonna send her the
it's
story of that French guy that ate a child.
okay.
What now? Okay, that
I
sounds.
gotta find it.
Speaking of things that I did not expect to come up on stream tonight.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a tremendous amount of just lore and intrigue around genuine and counterfeit cheese.
So cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and the cheese company, are you counting, Danny? I have
Yep.
numbers. I can tell you some I can tell you some of them, but I won't.
Okay.
If it were Ren, I would do it, but um,
Aw.
no, the cheese company, the Parmigiano Romano, Ray Romano's cheese company, um, they uh, they sponsored the Italian gymnast team, and
Really?
so yeah, so one of the Italian gymnasts has all of these really awesome professional photographs in her gymnast attire with big wheels of cheese. I love
That's
it.
fantastic.
It is so fantastic
I love that. Oh,
on those two.
I think lots should be sponsored by cheese. Everything should be sponsored by cheese.
Yeah, yeah.
And now I want
You
to
know,
go to my local grocery store to see if they are going to crack cheese at some point.
yeah. I mean, if they have them, if they carry like
Yeah.
real Parmesan cheese,
I don't.
surely they will crack it. You know, I mean, if they get the stuff in the
Yeah.
canisters or whatnot, they don't. But
No.
I mean, if they've got like a real cheese deli, cheese section of their
I'm.
deli or whatnot,
There's a fresh
that's
market
the
in
only
town. I'm
way.
sure the fresh
Oh,
market has
yeah,
it.
Fresh Market, I'm sure. Yeah.
I'll have to go there and
Yeah,
look.
Fresh Market's based in Greensboro.
Ah, I did
That's where
not
the
know that.
headquarters is. Yeah.
Yeah, I will have to. I will have to mosey on over there sometime. I don't shop there very often because it's a little bit out of my price range most of the time.
Yeah. I get the we get the meal deals from them sometimes.
Hmm.
And it's like for $20 you can get, you know, something for the whole family. Um,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
I remembered a thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah?
I visited a historic fort in the area
Mm-hmm.
that has never been open when I'm in the area before,
Ooh.
but I noticed that it was open when I was across the way for another thing. And their gift shop, they had like my first knitting kit, and here's some wool, and here's a drop spindle, and my first loom. And I was like, this is awesome.
Nice.
Get them kids
Yes. Do it.
back into the
Mhm.
crafts.
Mm-hmm.
They also had hoop and stick for sale.
Oh yeah. I got a hoop and stick from Williamsburg when I was a kid.
Did you play with it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's actually
I'd
kind of
smack
cool.
that hoop. I had smack that hoop all over the backyard.
I also
Like
got to see a
literally, that's
musket
not
and
a
a pistol
euphemism for
fired, so
anything.
that was pretty cool.
I dropped a link to a CNN story about
The
Italian
cheese
Olympic
gymnast.
gymnast, yeah,
Yes.
Giorgia Via, with wheels of Parmesan cheese. Oh man, I
Nice.
want some of that Parmesan cheese.
Mm.
You might want to pre-watch the thing with the French guy. I don't remember if there's any swearing in it or not.
Ah,
Yeah, if there is, there is.
that is a very
Uh,
nice picture of a woman with cheese.
Yeah,
Like,
there, I follow her on Instagram now because
because of the
just
cheese.
just hoping for cheese pictures. you, you know, you know who else I follow on Instagram for cheese pictures? A woman named Abby Lampy, who is a North Carolina State University graduate. That's where I went to college. But twice now, she has won the cheese rolling competition
mm-hmm.
in Gloucester, I think, or somewhere in England, or somewhere in
Okay.
the UK. So yeah, so we've not only had an American, like from a United Statesian, uh, you know, take that cheese from those
A
English
yank.
folks. They but a North Carolinian and like someone from my alma mater, and she's got a like some sort of quasi sponsorship with like a local cheese shop as well
So
now too.
cute.
So her and she and so she won a wheel of cheese, and so she brought it back home with her, and she's been posing with her wheel of cheese. I'm her too.
I love that you
Hey,
follow for
welcome to
cheese pictures.
yeah, well, welcome to Knits and Cheese.
Oh goodness. Forget
Abby
only
Lampy's
feet.
cheese
Start only
rolling.
cheese.
That's right. Yeah, so I follow Abby on Instagram also. She's a local celebrity.
That's fun. I love the
Two-time
randomness.
champion of the cheese wheel chasing race.
Like people get seriously hurt doing that
Oh,
too.
I would
Oh my
imagine.
gosh. Well, so it's a very, very steep hill, and they
Mm-hmm.
just like throw the cheese down, and inevitably you fall. You
Yeah.
cannot run from the top of the hill to the bottom. You fall and you roll, or whatever. And they have a like brigade of rugby players at the bottom of the hill to catch you and
Oh
stop
wow.
you to keep, because when you get to the bottom, you've got so much momentum. You're just going to run out to the road or whatnot if you're not careful. So they got rugby players to be a human wall to stop you and help keep you safe. But people be breaking their legs and twisting their ankles and
Yeah.
all that stuff. It's a serious sport.
Cheese rolling.
Yeah. And they do several. They roll several wheels of cheese down. So they have several.
There's like
several
different heats, isn't there?
Yeah.
So cool.
I want to go. I would.
Forget
I don't
the
want
running
to
of the
try.
bulls.
Yeah, how the running of the cheese.
Crits&Knits trip 2027.
The rolling of the cheese.
The rolling of the cheese. Oh no! Look, if we're no, if we do a European trip, we have to go to the heavy metal knitting competition in
Yes.
Iceland or wherever it is.
And that knitting museum we looked up a couple
Oh
weeks
yeah,
ago.
the one in Norway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My auntie is in Europe right now on one of her Viking River cruises, and she's supposed to bring me back some yarn because on previous trips, she's been like, "Oh, I saw some yarn. I thought about getting you some, but then I didn't because I didn't know." And I'm like,
Get the yarn.
"I would have
Always
figured
get the
something
yarn."
out."
Always get the
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm starting to drill that into people now. Always get the yarn. If
Mm-hmm.
you think you might get me some yarn, yes, get me yarn.
yeah, especially if you're going to effing Scotland.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. The snowshoe cow is yarn that a friend got in Norway. She got me the yarn. She's like, "Yeah, I got you yarn."
Yeah.
Another friend went to Peru a couple of months ago and came back with yarn for me, which I assume is alpaca, but it has no labels. It's
Oh.
wound up, in a cake like this,
Mm-hmm.
um, but no label, no tag, no nothing.
It's
And
just
it's
yarn.
variegated. Yeah, it's just yarn. It's variegated. So I don't know what its deal is. It looks like some sort of fingering weight. I don't know what I'm going to do with it,
Well,
but I'll
give it a
figure
good
something
fingering
out.
and then figure it out.
Absolutely. Everyone likes a good fingering.
I don't have that mug down here today. Oh well. That is my favorite mug.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I had some customers at my home improvement store place of work, and they were asking me about gate hardware. And so I took them to the gate hardware, and I'm like, "Oh, what are you working on?" And they're like, "Oh, well, we need to keep our sheep in because they need to be shorn." And the shearer came by, and um, they got out,
Oh no.
and so they couldn't be shorn. And I was like, "Oh, darn, that's a bummer. What kind of sheep do you have?" "I'm a knitter. What kind of sheep do you have?" And they told me, and I don't remember. And they're like, "Do you want some?" And I'm like,
Yes.
"Yes, I
Yes.
want some."
Oh my gosh, yes.
Never came.
Aw.
Oh.
It was nice that they asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of these
So
days.
so many people they shear the sheep and just consider the yarn waste, because they're raising the sheep for meat or
Yeah.
whatever. And I mean, and if you just consider it waste, you don't have to like be as careful with
Yeah.
getting a fleece off.
Yeah.
You don't hurt the sheep either
Yeah.
way, but you can be
Yep.
sloppier with getting it off. You don't
Yeah,
have
they
to
can
worry
be a little
about keeping
uneven
this.
and
Yeah, you don't have to worry about
exactly.
second cuts and stuff. And
Yeah,
oh,
and it's a
God,
lot
that
of work
sheep
to
shearing
take.
we saw at SAF was so cool.
it was
So cool. I love
and it was
it.
so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
There's
they only did one sheep, right?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
still
it was
really
off. It was
fast.
it was like basically out of season. The fall
Yeah.
is not. They probably had to like save a sheep
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the
Everybody else can be
demonstration.
nude.
Yeah,
Margaret has to be woolly.
Uncomfortable and hot
yeah.
all
We'll
summer.
just
Yeah.
like maybe trim it down a little bit or whatever. But yeah, because I used to go to one of the farms nearby in February, I think, is when they do their shearing, and uh and the entire flock. So
Mhm.
it's like, just a couple hours for their entire flock, and
Mhm.
it is just so much fun. And then people like just literally buying the fleeces, you know, as they're coming off, and for some number of them, and then some of them go back to the shop, and then a lot of them go to a mill. So
Yeah, that's still my goal, to one day buy a fleece and do the whole process. Do all the cleaning and scouring and carding and spinning and then knit it into something. And I want to do
I
like
still
a
have
sheep's
the
sweater.
drop spindle you gave me and a bunch of wool. I should really work on that. Maybe I can do that.
Yeah.
It's that
Mm.
won't stress my elbow.
It probably won't.
I got to learn how to ply it though, because the hat I made with the yarn or with the fiber that you gave me
Mhm.
that I bought at SAF is just single ply.
The so the spindle that I gave you is a Turkish spindle,
Yeah,
and so when you take it off, you've got the little turtle.
yeah.
You can pull the center of it, and you
Hmm.
basically have a center pull ball. As long as you've spun your both sets in the same direction, you can spin them together the other way to ply them. You just hold the two
Oh,
strands or three strands together and spin the
oh,
opposite direction, and that plies them.
okay.
Easy.
I will also watch a video.
Yes, also watch video, but plying them together is actually not nearly as complicated as it seems. You might also want to watch a video about ply on the fly, or
Fly on the fly.
ply as you go, because that's what I tend to do with my Turkish spindles. Is I will do just sort of a standard drop spindle. Oh, did I hit something? I hit something.
I can still hear you
Okay.
and see you.
Just making sure that I didn't like accidentally stop the stream. But I'll spin, say, clockwise,
Uh-huh.
and
Clockwise. You said say clockwise. What?
yes, I'll spin clockwise for a little while, and instead of winding that yarn around the legs of the spindle, I'll wind it up the shaft a little bit, and then I will do. It's just a weaving back and forth over my finger and my thumb to get that single onto my hand, and then I will chain ply it and spin that, chain plying as I go. And once I've got it chain plied, then I'll wrap that around the legs of the spindle. And you leave the little loop um, free, and then continue doing your singles, and then again wind up. And from that little loop, chain ply back up. That little loop I usually loop around one of the legs. It sounds complicated, but once you actually watch it happening, it's not that complicated. And then by the time you're done spinning through your fiber, you have a 3-ply chain plied chunk of yarn all in one. Yeah, that's my favorite way to do drop spindling.
I will look at that.
Yeah, it's fun.
I've never heard of that before. I think I mostly kept up with what you were describing, and it
I understood
sounds
all the words
good.
individually.
Yeah, but
Once
I think I could picture the process.
once you watch it,
It's
it'll make sense.
it
But
yeah. It
I'm
sounds so efficient.
mm-hmm. It's like my two at a time socks. Once I learned how to do that, that's what I
Hmm.
did. Now that I know how to ply on the fly, I ply as I go. And
Also, ply on the fly just is a
isn't
fun
that nice? It
phrase.
sounds good. It
Yeah,
feels good on the tongue. It's
yeah.
yeah. I like having a finished product when I'm done with a thing, instead of being
Yeah.
half finished and having to do more.
You know, other things that are fun things to say reminds me of last time we talked, and we were talking about fun band names and everything, and I mentioned
Yes.
Gasoline Mousetrap. Someone asked if we were on Spotify. I was like, no, we are now.
Yeah, you are. Might
I
be in my
texted my
favorites.
brother. I texted my brother and told him, "Hey, do we have recordings?" And he's like, "Do you mean by we? Do you mean me?" I was like,
Yes.
"Absolutely, I mean you." And he says, "Yeah, I think so." And so he looked, and turns out we have recordings of like 3 or 4 songs. One of them's in public domain. The others still have copyrights, and we're not going to chase that down.
No.
So 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 yeah, so we put Cripple Creek, which is a old bluegrass folky song, up there, and Chris was like, "Oh, we need like album art for it." So I made up some album art. It was a white square with the word Gasoline Mousetrap in the bottom right corner in like an old-timey westerny looking font.
Hmm.
And yeah, so now we're on Spotify. So
Many sea shanties are in the public domain.
yeah, well, so that's the thing. So Meredith was saying she wants to bring Gasoline Mousetrap back.
Please do.
You know, yeah, absolutely. Blueberry can play stuff now. So as I was looking this up, the recording that we put out, it looks like we did this in 2004. So this is actually the 20th year anniversary
There
of
you
Gasoline
go.
Mousetrap.
Wow.
We need to put out like a
Getting the
special
band
edition
back
album.
together.
We're getting the
Yeah.
band back
There you
together.
go.
And yeah, because of course there's the sea shanties. I thought about that, but
Let
also
me send you my Spotify playlist entitled
perfect.
Shanties and Shit.
Love it. But also a lot of Irish dance reels and jigs and things like that as
Yes.
well. Or Irish, so they're Irish dance, but yeah, but that's where we're familiar with them from.
Right.
So Meredith got her tin whistle out. She's playing her tin whistle again,
Yay.
and I'll have to dig my mandolin back out. And Blueberry can play cello. We'll figure it out somehow.
You'll make it work.
And so, of course, we're all here, and obviously we've got some microphones and stuff. We don't have a real studio, but I mean, if you listen to what we did before, it was just recording in a family room. Um, and Chris has got a better studio. He's out in California, so we're going to end up having to like do
Family
it
road
long
trip.
distance. Yeah, now we'll send each other files,
Yeah.
like Dolly Parton did when she put her new rock and roll album out.
Yeah.
She was not singing duets with people in the same room.
Nah.
She was in Nashville. They were in L.A.
I mean, if Dolly Parton wanted to sing a song with me, I would fly my butt to wherever she was and
I
do whatever
I
she
would
wanted.
too. Yeah, absolutely,
Miss Dolly gets whatever she wants.
absolutely. She's an international treasure.
Yes.
All right, thank you for your shanties and shit.
Love it.
Whoever was playing, what would you do with the Drunken Sailor on for cello
Draw a
the
dick on
other
his
day?
face and Sharpie. Draw a dick on his face and Sharpie. Draw a dick on his face and Sharpie early in the morning.
I feel like
Yeah,
that's
but
a newer verse.
It is.
uh yeah, but so she apparently they're playing in her strings class at school.
Oh,
And is she over there? Cheese? Thank you.
oh, jeez.
There's some cheese. It's all shrink wrapped still, so I'm not
Wow.
gonna open it up. But yeah, that's the Parmigiano Reggiano. This is the kind of cheese that's delicious.
Wow.
So
Oh, look at that good
no,
rind
I
on
don't need
there.
any cheese right now. Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that rind. Look at
That's
that
a nice rind.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, what were you saying that they have to for the Drunken Sailor song? What do you have to call it at school?
Flying Dutchman
Yes.
because it's not middle school appropriate.
Call it. What would you do with a Flying Dutchman? Because a drunken sailor is not middle school appropriate.
Okay.
Doesn't make any ding dang diddly darn sense.
It does not make any ding dang diddly darn sense at all.
Yeah.
But she played on her cello, so
Well, there you go. She's already ready for it.
yep. All right.
That makes
Well,
me angry that they made them change it.
Sounds like a school thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you what. I texted Pam earlier to see if she minded if I opened this thing up on the stream. She hasn't texted me back, but I'll open it up anyway.
Yeah, you do.
If you still want to
Just
see
a
it.
little peek.
Just a little peek.
peek.
Yeah, just
All
a little
right.
peek in the end.
A little peek. You want a little peek at my end?
Yeah.
Gonna make a lot of noise.
Yeah,
Crinkle,
get that
crinkle.
ASMR.
Oh. Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I
I'm
like
glad I
it.
got this
Oh,
one
it's gonna be so
last.
good.
Yeah. So you see, it's got the gray in it, but then it looks like some pink and a bright blue and
Nice
like a
lime.
highlighter, almost highlight, yeah, lime, green, greeny
Like
yellow.
it.
Yeah, very
Oh, that's
nice.
gonna be nice.
That is going to be nice. I wonder what the colorway's called.
Jelly
Like,
beans.
All the
Oh,
way. Woo! Is
go
there
all
some
the way
purple
with
in
you
there too?
guys. Yeah, Moon, Muon.
Oh, muon.
Muon?
It's a
Is that a
particle.
sciencey thing?
Yeah, it's a particle.
The particle?
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, because all of the string theory yarn is sciencey. So
oh.
the volt base and the volt base, that's the one I said it was Targi. So it is it says somewhere 90% Targi and 10% nylon. And so then yeah, so there's all the colors and they come with a little stitch marker on it,
Nice.
which
Eee,
is
I love it.
so cute.
Yeah.
And so it is the Muon. And then she tells you what the stripe pattern is going to be. You can't read that, so I'll read it out to you.
Thanks.
7 rows berry, 3 rows gray, 7 rows true chartreuse,
Ooh,
3 rows gray, 7 rows turquoise, 3 rows gray.
that's gonna be
So
pretty.
yeah, it's like this was like seven or 9 rows. I think 7 rows of the purple, then 3 rows gray, then 7 rows of the teal, 3 rows gray. So just going between 2 colors and the gray. This is going between 3 colors and the gray.
Nice.
Gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
I'm
it
digging
is.
it.
I need to get on their website and. Do they have a website? They must have a website.
I'm sure they do. I will find it. I've seen several yarn companies with similar names, so I will
Yeah.
find the right one.
Yeah. I know when
I
I
think
went to
it's
Florida, I got some because they had some shop exclusives there, and I really
right.
enjoyed working with it. Their colors are so saturated.
Yeah. So this is String Theory Color Works, and they're awesome. They are so smart because they ended up getting the domain selfstriping.com.
Oh, nice!
So there you
Wow,
go.
that's
If you want
fantastic.
if you want self-striping yarn, you just go to
Okay,
selfstriping.com and they will set you up.
excellent.
Hand-dyed
Woo!
self-striping yards, mathematically guaranteed.
Nice.
A
They're
lot.
my people. They're my people. I had so much fun talking with it. I visited with Ruth. I chatted with them a little bit. Then when it started getting busy, I went away so that they could, do their job
Right.
with
Yeah.
customers. And then when I noticed that there were no customers in their booth, I'd go back and talk with them some more.
I
So
love when
much
people are
fun.
chatty like that and happy to interact.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, and like, so the wife was doing, most of the like selling. She's the dyer, and so she was
Okay.
doing most of like the interaction with people, and the husband was doing most of the cash register, the cash
Mm-hmm.
box stuff. But he was an engineer. I think she was a biologist. He was like a nuclear engineer
Nice.
or electrical or mechanical engineer. He was yeah, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So they had a real science background coming behind them, and you could tell that they're very precise. Caitlin, I think was her name, was very precise with keeping track of the recipes she would use for the dyes so that she can replicate the color over and over again. And
Yeah.
then whatever secret sauce she does to warp her yarn to get it,
Exactly
so
right.
that
Yeah.
it's exactly right. To the point where she has no problem saying, you're going to get 7 rows of this color, then 3 rows of this one,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for a typical sock. I mean,
Right.
if I were knitting a hat, it would be different, but
Yeah. And when I knit
and
it, my rows were a little bit off, but again, I have tiny feet and I
you have
use
tiny feet, yeah.
smaller circumference, so I had an extra row.
Hmm. Hmm.
Was that mystery thing you got? Was that like a one-off deal?
They had like 5 or 6 of them hanging up on the shop, and it came in a bag. Um,
But it might have
so
I'm
been
it
seeing
had
a
a
if it's on the
drawstring bag.
website.
Yeah, I don't know if it's be on the website or
I
not.
want it.
it had a drawstring bag. I bet you could contact them and they would make one for you if they don't have it on the website.
Oh.
Um, and because it came with the three Hanks
Mm-hmm.
that were mystery did it, and then the gray one, the hematite, was outside of the bag, just hanging, and you could see it, so you knew
Oh,
what the contrast was going to be, because that helps give you a clue of what you're looking at. Because I got the gray, because some of the other ones were like more pastel
yeah.
and whatnot. I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to want socks like that for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then and also it told you what the base was, because she had this one's in Volt, but she had it in other bases as well. And so it came with that, and each of these had a stitch marker on them, because I think that's just what she did with all of her skeins of yarn. And but then there was also like a mystery set of stitch markers as well. It's like 8 stitch
Oh,
markers.
nice.
And I think the ones I got were Schrodinger's cat stitch markers or something like
Aw.
that. It was so cool.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. And it's great. I've been on such a sock kick. I mean, I do these, and then I'm all out of her self-striping yarn. And so which is pretty amazing, because usually I go to 2 shows a year usually.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina Fiber Fest in the spring and SAF in the fall. And I buy sock yarn there, and I usually still have that sock yarn by the time I go to the show again the next year.
Mm-hmm.
But I buckled down on this one.
Nice. I need to do that. You know what? I'm going to set a goal by the
Uh-oh.
by by the end of 2024. I'm going to be finished the current Star Wars socks I'm knitting and one more skein at least.
Uh-huh.
Yep, that's the plan. Because that's 4 months. 4 more months. I can I can knit 3 pairs of socks in 4 months.
Yeah, you can do that. I was I was doing a sock a pair a month, and yours are smaller than what I do. So,
Yeah.
E, I found it, the Gemstone Mystery 3 pack. I found it on their site.
Ooh.
Yo, send me it.
I'm not going to just send it to you. I'm dropping it in the general channel on the Discord so everyone can see it.
We
And
all
so there's
know
a
about her
Gemstone
socks.
Mystery pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you choose the base and solid color. It looks like she's got several. Oh
Ooh.
my gosh. Now I kind of want to get another one.
Well, on that note, maybe we should end the stream so that we can go shopping.
Go shopping. Yeah.
Yay!
Yay!
Woo!
Shopping! It's a
Oh, the
shopping
little guy
episode!
is so cute too.
I'm gonna buy yarn and cheese.
Yay! The best things to buy. Well, thank you everyone for joining us while we talked about our knitting with Knits and Knits. One of these days I'm going to get a Knits and Knits logo to go up in the corner here for our
We
Knits and
have
Knits
Oops All
nights.
Knits, don't we?
Well, we do, but I couldn't find it on this computer tonight. We
Oh,
will make things better for next time, because next time
yeah.
in 2 weeks will also be, I believe, a Just the Knits.
I
Knits and
was
Knits.
looking at the calendar and I don't know that we're going to have any crits for the rest of the year.
Yeah, things are rough.
Life be life.
Life
Real
be
hard.
lifing. We're gonna
That
see what we
works.
can do though. We may see about finding like an alternate date that we can play and record and then stream not live, because you guys are so
I want to
close.
wrap it up.
You DB made a choice that really needs to have some consequences happening. So, but yes, we.
I don't remember what that choice was.
But we'll be back in 2 weeks with some more Knits and Knits, and until then, happy knitting, and we will see you later. Bye.
Rock on.
Bye.